Some things shifted this week. Trump's shaking hands with Xi while restarting nuclear tests. America's work visas just hit a wall, and Microsoft reminded us how fragile the internet really is. Meanwhile, India quietly lost a key military base in Central Asia, and geopolitics feels like it's speeding up again. Big power moves, hidden cracks, and one uneasy world. Let's dive right in. Good morning. Welcome to Top of the Morning by Mint. I'm your host, Nelson John. This is your smart daily briefing on what matters. From big moves in business to headlines shaping India and the world, we cut through the noise so you start your day informed and ahead. It's Thursday, 30th of October. Let's get started. Donald Trump and Xi Jinping sat down this morning in South Korea for their first face-to-face since Trump returned to the White House. The stakes, ending a trade war that cost both countries billions of dollars. They met on the sidelines of the Apex summit in the coastal city of Busan. Smiles, handshakes, cameras flashing. Trump called Xi a friend for a long time now and a great leader of a great country.
Well, thank you very much. It's a great honor to be with a friend of mine, really for a long time now, if you think about it. The very, very distinguished and respected president of China. And we will be having some discussions. I think we've already agreed to a lot of things, and we'll agree to some more right now. But President Xi is a great leader of a great country, and I think we're going to have a fantastic relationship for a long period of time. And it's an honor to have you with us. Thank you very much.
This is their first meeting since 2019 in Japan during Trump's first term. A lot has changed since then. The backdrop is months of escalating tariffs. Trump slapped China with heavy duties. Beijing retaliated by stopping purchases of U.S. soybeans, leaving American farmers sitting on billions in unsold crops. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent promised the meeting would deliver a resounding victory for those farmers. Trump hinted on Wednesday that he could lower tariffs in exchange for China cracking down on fentanyl precursor chemicals. "I think they're going to help us with the fentanyl situation," he said while boarding Air Force One. He also mentioned NVIDIA's Blackwell AI chips. "We'll be speaking about Blackwells," Trump said, calling the processors super duper. Trump came with Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Xi brought Foreign Minister Wang Yi and other senior officials. Hours before the meeting, Trump announced the U.S. would resume nuclear weapon testing for the first time since 1992. The timing wasn't subtle. Both leaders expressed optimism publicly. Trump said he expects a great deal that's good for both countries. Beijing confirmed the meeting but stayed quieter about expectations. So what's actually on the table? Trade, tariffs, technology access, rare earth minerals, and agricultural purchases. But here's the thing. China's willing to walk away if the deal doesn't meet its objectives. Trump here needs a win. Whether they bridge that gap remains to be seen. Starting Thursday, thousands of foreign workers in the U.S. face an unexpected problem. Their jobs could disappear overnight. The Department of Homeland Security just eliminated automatic work permit extensions. Now, what does that mean? If your renewal isn't approved before your current permit expires, you're done working the next day. This is a massive change. Until now, workers could keep their jobs for up to 540 days while waiting for renewal approvals. That safety net is gone. Indian professionals are taking the biggest hit. We're talking about H-1B workers stuck in decades-long green card backlogs, their H-4 spouses who depend on work permits, students on STEM extensions, and employments based on green card applicants. Henry Lind Perry, senior counsel at Manifest Law, simply puts it as, until now, most people could continue working while their renewal was pending. Starting tomorrow, almost everyone will lose their work authorization if renewal isn't approved before their current card expires. The problem here is USCIS takes anywhere from 3 to 12 months to process renewals. But your work authorization doesn't wait. USCIS Director Joseph Edlow defended the move, saying the agency is prioritizing security over convenience. He pointed to a June 2025 attack in Boulder by someone whose permit had been automatically extended. The agency's advise, file your renewal 180 days early. Miss that window? You're risking everything. Donald Trump just ended a 33-year freeze. The U.S. is going back to nuclear weapons testing. Trump posted that he's instructed the Department of War to begin testing America's nuclear arsenal immediately. The reason? Russia and China are doing it. The last U.S. nuclear test was on September 23, 1992. President George H.W. Bush announced a moratorium that same year. That's over. Here's what's triggered this. On Sunday, Russian President Vladimir Putin announced Russia tested its Burevestnik cruise missile. 2 days later, Putin said Russia tested the Poseidon nuclear-powered torpedo. Military analysts say this underwater weapon could trigger massive radioactive ocean swells that devastate coastal cities. Trump called Putin's announcement not appropriate. Trump claimed the U.S. had more nuclear weapons than any country. Wrong. Russia has over 5,500 nuclear warheads. The U.S. has 5,044. Nevada Congresswoman Diana Titus responded, "Absolutely not. It'll be introducing legislations to put a stop to this. The nuclear testing freeze is done for now." After 25 years, India lost a major foothold in Central Asia. The Indian military has pulled out of the strategic Airbase in Tajikistan, ending a presence that gave New Delhi direct access to Afghanistan and leverage over Pakistan. The agreement ended 4 years ago and wasn't renewed. Indian personnel and equipment were withdrawn by 2022. But the pullout stayed quiet until now. Here's what India invested. Close to $100 million over 2 decades, upgrading the Soviet-era base. India strengthened runways for combat jets, built hardened shelters, and stationed up to 200 personnel there, including Su-30 MKI fighters. The base sat just 20 kilometers from Afghanistan's Wakhan corridor, which borders Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. India used it to support anti-Taliban forces and later for evacuation flights when the Taliban seized Kabul in 2021. Why did Tajikistan refuse to extend? Probably pressure from Russia and China. Both powers have deep strategic ties with Tajikistan and weren't comfortable with India's military presence in their backyard. India offered fighter jets to stay. Well, that didn't work. Microsoft Azure went down on Tuesday, taking half the internet with it. The outage started around 9:30 p.m. IST and hit hard. Over 18,000 users reported problems initially. Alaska Airlines couldn't check passengers in. Heathrow Airport's website crashed. Starbucks, Costco, Kroger's all down. Microsoft 365, Minecraft, Outlook, Xbox Live unavailable for hours. So what happened here? Azure Front Door, the entry point for web applications running on Microsoft servers, failed. Microsoft said an inadvertent configuration change had triggered the mess. "We have initiated the deployment of our last known good configuration," Microsoft posted. Recovery took about 4 hours. This comes days after Amazon AWS crashed, disrupting Snapchat and Reddit. Between AWS and Azure, they control most of the cloud computing market. When they go down, the world stops. For Alaska Airlines, this is the third IT failure in 3 months. Last week, their own data center crashed, grounding all flights for 8 hours and stranded 49,000 passengers. The pattern is clear. Our digital infrastructure is fragile. That's all for today. Thank you for joining in. We're eagerly looking forward to our next Top of the Morning episode, which will be packed with the latest news. Until then, this is Nelson John signing off. Have a great day.